Okay, this is DragonofEternity and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker MSQ. In the last video I returned from the first to the source and I helped kill some blasphemies in Garlemald. And in this video, I'm going to be talking to Lucia for the quest outside help. But before I do that, I have been waiting for your NPC to appear in game for so long. So very, very long. Let me get this out of my system real quick. Where's the move? Ooh, where's the move? No, yes. Sir? You're getting kicked in the dick. There. Just had to get that out of my system. Okay. Lucia. Outside help. Lucia is taking stock of the present situation. Yeah, I just had to get that out of my system. That was like 30-40 episodes in the making.
Good.
Oh shit, it's voice. Alright, me and Mike.
I briefed the recovered soldiers and sent them on their way as quickly as I could, but nevertheless feared they would not make it in time.
The additional support was invaluable. Your men saved more than a few lives. Though not all, I regret to say.
I take it that I'm addressing Lucia Junius. I'm the Forum's envoy, Fortuno Leveilleur. And you are owed an explanation for these most dire developments.
Another trial wrought by the final days. I was beginning to suspect as much. You doubtless feel some consternation having been forced to abandon your original plan. But trust me when I say you were right to send the refugees elsewhere. Beasts have been sighted within the capital. Perhaps it was a stroke of grim fortune that the population was decimated beforehand, as they've yet to appear in any great number, but in time. In any case, Maxima leads the remainder of the contingent in an effort to cull the creatures and evacuate the populace as we speak. Once the airships have taken to the skies, I pray your men can be persuaded to join him.
You'll permit us to retain our weapons?
I wouldn't have sent you after the Scions were I expecting you to stab them in the back.
And I, for one, would not consider past transgressions more relevant than future contributions. Regardless of the circumstances that saw us at odds before, we need men of courage now, more than ever.
We swore to defend Garlemald, and so we shall.
It seems you have everything under control. You will excuse me then, for mine own duties await.
A moment, Master Fortuno. You did desire to express your appreciation for services rendered, did you not?
I did. Though if you intend to again ask that Sharleyan alter its course, you will find my gratitude insufficient.
'Tis nothing so onerous. I wish to hear the details of this grand endeavor of yours.
Do you swear to listen and to learn, and not to embark upon some scheme to impede us?
I swear.
Any other I would doubt, but you I trust to keep your word. For not once have you broken it. Very well. I will request that the Forum make you privy to our plans. You may await our summons at the Baldessian Annex, assuming the decision is in your favor. Does that suffice?
It does. You have my thanks. Excellent. You can regale us with tales of your most recent sojourn to the First while we wait. Did you hear something just now?
Dawn may banish even the darkest night, and to this bitter clime bring warmth and comfort. 'Tis heartening to see such an assembly upon my return. I thought often of you whilst I looked down upon our star's brilliance from the moon above.
Yes, but what are you doing here? And dressed like that? Aren't you cold?
Verily, I fear for my health should I proceed to expound upon our purpose ere I procure more suitable garments.
Then allow me to summarize. We're here because none of you lot are up there. Nor has anyone deigned to send word about any changes in the plans. It's rude, is what it is. At least that's what I thought at first, but then folks got to wondering if you weren't in a spot of bother, so we decided to take matters into our own hands. Come down here and help, if our help be needed. So she says, but it's also something of a convenient excuse to visit Aetheris. Oriange made it sound absolutely marvelous. More so before the impending doom, but still. And it's not like there will ever be a better time. What with the aforementioned doom?
Marvellous, they say, yet not an ounce of pudding to be found. I must suffer Oriange's inferior works no more.
Hey! Maybe consider the plight of present company before you go blathering on about pudding and doom?
I gotta pause this for a second. What the fuck? Like, what the fuck? Does the forum know they're dealing with these guys? Oh, if they don't, this is gonna be hilarious.
As I was saying, should you require any assistance with whatever, we are at your disposal. We were born from Hydaelyn's love for the lives of this star. So naturally, we would much prefer to see them continue. Twiddling our thumbs up on the moon is hardly conducive to that, though, is it? Aye, not when you've all got such precious thoughts and feelings and hopes for the future deserving of more active preservation. Speaking to Urianger made us realize that while we've carried out our duties to the letter, we've failed to fulfill them in spirit. From there, it was just a hop, skip, and a jump towards resolving to do better. So please, show us how. Help us help you.
Forgive me, but are they...
Thy distant collaborators, indeed.
Hail, fellow, well met. You'd be a member of the Forum, would you? It's an honor and a pleasure to meet you at last. I'm Livingway, Hydaelyn's right paw. That last bit is very important, as am I, if I may humbly say so myself.
I bid you welcome to our star, Livingway. On behalf of the Forum, I thank you for traveling such a distance to meet us. As you have surmised, preparations for the Exodus have not proceeded as smoothly as we had hoped. I should be happy to personally escort you to our headquarters in Sharleyan, where you may advise us as you deem fit.
'Twas with reluctance that I set aside the great work of readying the moon for habitation. Be assured that I did so only after the Loperites made plain their earnest desire to come hither, and I myself felt a growing certainty that their contributions here would prove invaluable. 'Tis trite, perhaps, but I followed my heart. I am no esteemed philosopher of Eld. Nevertheless, 'tis my hope that what little knowledge I shared shall serve them well, and perchance help save us all. Wilt thou attend us at the Forum and lend thine own wisdom?
If that's all quite settled, can we start moving before Urianger catches his death? Even I'm freezing out here.
Oh, I dare say you'll warm up quickly once you're aboard the airship. Sat shoulder to shoulder with our fur-covered friends.
Well, I came a bit late. Dare I ask what the MS is? I'm not uploading anything. I'm not downloading anything. At least I hope I'm not. Hang on a tick. Nope, it's not. It's not downloading anything on Steam. Hang on, while I'm here. I guess I'm not picking that up for a bit longer. Hello. Beg pardon, good madam, I could scarce help but notice that sightseeing log on your person. You wouldn't happen to be the adventurer my niece wrote about, would you? Maybe. Ah, so it is you. Pleased to make your acquaintance. I am Babeth Ironheart, Miliv's aunt and seasoned explorer. Be a dear and hand me that log of yours. Miliv told me all about how she helped you embark on expeditions on your own, so it's only right that I share with you some knowledge of my own. Alright, give me new sightseeing logs. Let me see here. Oh, I can't forget to mention that, and done. You should be all set, dear. I've jotted down everything I've heard about the most remarkable vistas the realm has to offer. Of course, a few notes I've shared are not more than rumours, some describing locales so fantastical I can barely believe they exist. But as I always say, the true joy of exploration lies not in the destination, but in the journey. So go forth, dear, and see what sort of journey these hints take you on. That sightseeing log of yours won't fill itself, you know. Whoa. Endwalker entries have been added to your sightseeing log. You must be level 18 above to record them, travel to location, use a random emote, and hope for the best. Lovely. Okie dokie. 545. I'll be 10 item levels higher. Let's see. Sightseeing log. So there are 20. No, that's realm reborn. There are 46 in Endwalker. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Right, back to the main story. I dare say Master Fortunate was as nonplussed as we were to learn the identity of Heidelin's lunar custodians. As he will soon discover, they have much and more to offer the Forum. Might I suggest we return to the Annex forthwith? We may have time to discuss my recent adventures we are summoned to the rostra. Yeah, we gotta tell them about Meteon. Poor daughter. She's been crying out about Oblivion for millennia at this point. Literally millennia. I hope there's a way to save her. Yeah. We'll find out at the end of this journey. Can I get a quick teleport? To Baldesion Annex. Right, so I gotta tell you guys about Meteon. And I can't forget the bloody name for the emotional energy. I keep mixing it up between the one told in the World Unsundered and in Favnir. Orchestra? I think. Right then. To the main hall. Let's go! Is this voiced? I keep asking that, but I just don't know. Nope. Alright. Not that I'm complaining, Jay, but I wasn't expecting to see you quite so soon. Nor IV, in extolling the virtues of a virus. I did inadvertently awaken in Loporrit's a desire to avert our beloved star's demise. Cryel tells us you have obtained new knowledge that may aid us in our ongoing efforts. I've news to share regarding our study of the Ethereal Sea, but your findings are certain to be of greater interest, and so I would rather hear them first. To what revelations did Heidelin's Elpis flower reveal? Well, see, it all started with Elidibus in the first, who wasn't actually dead yet, and then he transported me back in time to the World Unsundered, where I met Hermes and Meteon, and it turns out she has this emotional energy, and she went to a bunch of planets, and they're all dead, and now she sings about Oblivion across the universe, and we're back to present day. Then this Dynamis is what drives the final days. If it and Akasha are one and the same, this all but proves Nidana's theory. Were an entity, through sheer force of emotion, to channel this vast, dormant reservoir into a raging river, its power might surpass even that of ether. But if our star is so replete with ether, said entity would need to be outside its influence to effectively manipulate the dynamis of the Great Expanse. Which she is at the end of the universe, apparently. Wherever that is. Meteon, or rather, the sorrow and suffering of fallen civilizations that she has been hoarding for millennia. Untold anguish and fear and hatred drawn from every corner of the universe for a single purpose, the destruction of Etheirus. Then our foe is no longer some unknowable calamity. We have but one aim: to defeat Meteon. You make it sound so simple, but you're not wrong. Vanquish Meteion, and we deliver the world from the final days, but to even attempt it, there are 2 conditions. First, we must determine her location, which Hydaelyn knows. Before Meteion escaped, an enchantment was placed upon her by Vanar, the woman who would become Hydaelyn. The implications of temporal magics are not entirely understood, and so we cannot assume that our Hydaelyn and the Vanar you met in Elpis are one and the same. Nevertheless, due to her intrinsic qualities as an all-powerful being, I'd wager that Hydaelyn possesses the knowledge we seek. Whether she would share that knowledge with us, however, remains to be seen. After all, she intends for us to flee if Iris not to stay. Or what if the spaceship isn't for that purpose? What if it's for us to go see Meteion? Do you suppose she has abandoned her pursuit of Meteion? The Vanar I know would never give up. No, but Meteion is still out there. Yeah, what would stop her from just going after the planet we settle on? That's my impression too, otherwise she wouldn't have used me as a conduit for her will or provided clues such as the Elpis flower. I believe she has been waiting for mankind's answer to Hermes' question. So, what's the second condition? We must find a means to reach Meteion. Naturally, our chosen method would depend entirely upon wheresoever she has made her nest. Then communing with Hydaelyn must, by necessity, come first. Did you and Master Matoya have any luck with your investigation into the Ethereal Sea? Sadly not, though we enlisted the help of our involved and other Echo-blessed allies. We couldn't detect so much as a whisper from Hydaelyn, even from within the Antitower. Yeah, they had to fight past Calcabrina for that. Master Matoya is of the opinion that in the years since abandoning it, the Forum has found some other method of receiving instructions from Hydaelyn. If so, it would most likely come from some sort of apparatus for observing the Ethereal Sea built closer to home. Labyrinthos. Sorry to interrupt, but we just received word from the Forum. Your presence is required in the rostra where they intend to discuss the Great Exodus. Then Father was able to persuade them. Or maybe not, who knows. They're finally taking us seriously, let's hear what they have to say. There's gonna be a big cutscene, ain't it? Most likely, most likely. Right then. Body check. 'Twas Hydaelyn's commandment that in the event Zodiac should perish, the Loporrits were to deliver the people of Ephyros from harm. Though that be the limit of their duties, they possess knowledge unparalleled of the great expanse and the means of its traversal. Should they be persuaded to assist on our efforts to reach Meteion, we would do well to heed their counsel. Sternian, at first I wasn't sure what to make of Hermes and his motives. But it's like we discussed at the Great Work when faced with the harsh realities of life. Some seek the release of death. Others grow defiant. They fight. Either way, it is our right to choose. Well, that was a much quicker response than I was expecting. Nice to know our efforts on the Magna Glacius did not go unnoticed. Father has granted us the opportunity we've been waiting for. Though we know not what information, if any, they intend to reveal, there's only one way to find out, to the rostra. Tataru, I hope you don't mind me staying behind while you attend your big meeting. The rostra reminds me too much of the supremely scary tribunal in Ishgard. You'll forgive me if I keep my distance. Oh yeah, where you got tried for heresy. After you left for Garlemald, I went to Labyrinthos and tried to reach Hydaelyn using the Elpis flowers. Alas, my attempts were in vain. I can only assume that she spent a vast amount of her power in the confrontation with Van Daniel, and is presently unable to communicate. So was her power that I summoned things? Or... no, it was her directing people on the moon. Indeed, as her presence left my body, I could feel how faint it had grown. Oh god, she's dying this expansion, isn't she? Master Matoya has suspected for some time that the Forum has been constructing a new facility for the purpose of surveying the Ethereal Sea. Of course, as the custodian of the Antitower, she would presumably be rendered obsolete as a result. She has a few things to say about that. Nothing that should be repeated in polite company, you understand. Oh boy. Let me get some Scottish people around, some Australian people around, and we can hear what she has to say. Let's see. After sending Grohan Estinian back to Garlemald, I stayed in Locus Amonis for a time. Being an imperial province, it was already in turmoil but before the onset of the final days. You wouldn't believe the difficulties we had overseeing the evacuation of the villages we visited. I have faith the detachment we left behind will continue our work and shepherd the people to safety. To what safety can be found in a world coming to an end. Defeat the Crystal Tower, the first is capable of such feats as sending one's soul into the distant past. Isn't that what happened with you? The events you witnessed and helped shape may yet hold the key to forestalling the final days. I'm reminded of dear friends in a future I unmade. It's not unmade. They're still alive according to that short story, whose selfless efforts saw the 8-foot umbral calamity averted. In this timeline, at least. Too much has been sacrificed for us to abandon a virus now. Okay, let's get to that roster. Let's hope these 99 pricks listen to us, and we'll go from there. Whenever it loads. I understand it being a capital city, but maybe it's just my bloody load times. Oh, my internet. Ooh, receiving is pretty bad. Okay. I'm just gonna have to work through it. Alright, so the roster. Now, am I going to get to that notification that there's going to be a series of cutscenes? Soon as it loads. What time is it? Oh god, I've been recording for 8 hours now? 8, 9? I could go all night and finish this game. Nah, I'd rather have a decent sleep schedule. Wastra Stewart, how you doing, buddy? The forum is in session, and as such, the Wastra is closed to visitors. A sign of the Seventh Dawn. Very well, you may wait in the corridor. Of course, entry will only be permitted on the condition you leave your armaments at the door. Lest you forget, the sacred institution holds rational discourse in the highest. The implements of war are expressly forbidden. What if I'm a monk? Whee! There's a lot of people coming in. Right, am I gonna get that? Warning, no. Okay. Well, I guess I'll mute in case it is voiced, and we'll go from there.
There is a matter I wish to raise with you before we enter. We are here to listen and to learn. But if the forum's plans are more or less what I expect, then I should like to make a proposal that will serve our ends. By your leave, of course.
I don't see why not. Your words and wits have gotten us this far.
Agreed. I will present our queries so that you may consider the most advantageous way to advance your proposal without distraction.
Thank you, everyone.
If I may have your attention, the ad hoc session will now commence. The purpose of today's assembly is to brief the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, at their request, on the Great Exodus. You may enter. On behalf of the Forum, I commend your heroic actions on the Magna Glaciers. We shall not soon forget your service to us and the people of radz-at-han. The Satrap, whom we have informed of the refugees' new arrangements, sings your praises as well. As an expression of our gratitude, we will endeavor to answer your questions as fully and openly as we are able.
Then let us begin. First, it is the Forum's objective to ferry the life and knowledge of this star to the moon. Am I correct?
You are. It is for this purpose that Sharleyan has labored these many long years. We have collected biological samples and scientific records from across the star. When the time comes, they will be moved from their places in Labyrinthos and Numenon and conveyed to safety. Once that critical task has been accomplished, we will begin transporting the Sharleyan citizenry, which has been categorized into groups. The earliest arrivals are to ensure hospitable environs for those who come after. Following our people, we will send those of other nations in turn, beginning with our allies. Radz-at-han was foremost among these, but since the final days have already come to Thavnair, we saw fit to include the refugees with earlier groupings.
An ambitious plan. You have accounted for the safety of all nations and tribes, then?
As many as we can.
And how, pray tell, do you decide who to leave behind?
To journey beyond the sky is an unprecedented and immeasurably difficult endeavor. Introducing sources of inevitable conflict would condemn all to certain death.
Questions as to the validity of that approach aside, are your plans proceeding apace? We're under the impression that your primary means of celestial transportation is incomplete.
If only in that it does not meet our optimal parameters, that is correct. This Ark, as some have taken to calling it, is fully operational and could be launched even today. However, the final days have progressed more quickly than we anticipated. At present, the ship is incapable of attaining speeds sufficient to meet our evacuation targets. Should we put the vessel into service, as it is now, we will be unable to travel to the moon and back quickly enough to complete the necessary number of trips. Precious lives and knowledge will be lost.
Seven hells. Is there anything to be done?
The ether burner, the primary means of propulsion once the craft is in the space between stars, is undergoing testing to determine whether it can be made more efficient. Though cargo is being loaded for the initial phase of the Exodus, we are prepared to continue our experimentation up to the day before launch, should it prove necessary.
What if the Scions were to solve your problem? We shall help devise a means to improve the ether burner's efficiency on 2 conditions. If we succeed, you must allow us to meet with Hydaelyn.
"'Twas simple enough to deduce. You have a Concord, and so you would never have abandoned the Anti-Tower had you no other means of communication. One far more convenient, I suspect."
The second condition, also to be met upon our success, is that we be permitted to propose another use for your Ark.
We would be at liberty to refuse this proposal.
Of course. If we cannot prove its merit to the 99 here, who are we to stake on it the lives of all peoples of this star?
Delightful as always, Master Alfino. Oh, we couldn't have asked for a finer plan. Allow us to solve this complex engineering problem of which we were entirely unaware until moments ago. What could possibly go wrong? The satire writes itself. Yet, what field has not benefited from a change in perspective? When we are at wit's end, what we need is not the same dry theories recited ad nauseam, but fresh inspiration. I, for one, have faith in my erstwhile students to provide it, and I find their terms to be perfectly acceptable.
Order! Order! We have no time to waste on debate. I call a vote. All in favor of agreeing to the Scion's terms? "71 in favor, 28 against. The ayes have it. Fortuneau, as the architect of this project, you are the best candidate to show them its current state. And bear in mind that regardless of your personal misgivings, this is the will of the Forum.
Very well.
Call this session to a close. Return to your tasks with urgency. The final days wait for none.
Okay, I wasn't expecting to see Fortuneau's NPC again. Give me a little tick. Yeah, just give me a second. Hello. You know what time it is? It's time for your dick getting kicked in. I had to. Alright, party time. Rest assured, I have every intention of honouring the Forum's decision. I'm gonna do that every bloody step of the way. My offensive espionage may have earned me the title of Archon, but I was completely unaware of the Forum's plans. They may have been clues here and there. had I been on the mind to look for them, but contemplating that possibility only serves to further wound my pride. Not that anyone would have realistically surmised that their brilliant stratagem was to build a giant ship, fly to the moon, a stellar larger vessel in truth, and use that to travel to another star. Even now, the whole idea seems positively absurd when spoken about. Yeah. Of late, I have seen no signs of the Loporits. This being their first opportunity to experience the wonders of Sharleyan, the potential for adventure is nigh infinite. Oh no. Don't show them the Archon loaf. Perhaps if Midgårdsson were still alive, in the traditional sense that is, he could have offered to help the vessel attain the necessary speeds. Then again, there's no guarantee his contribution would have made enough of a difference to matter. Now I want to see that. I just have to watch that one episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Where the 3 dragons are helping the plane land. And Kaiba is losing his shit. At least in the abridged version. The further we pursue the mysteries of the universe, the more I struggle to comprehend the fortuitous nature of time itself. We measure and quantify it based on observations of celestial bodies such as the sun and moon, but from your account it is unclear whether the ancients viewed time in a similar manner. I mention this because while Vinar knew the final days would reoccur at a defined point in the future, she presumably had no way of knowing exactly when. Even so, the completion of the Forum's preparations to escape the moon, aligning so closely with the advent of the final days, is surely no coincidence. I'm a little vexed that we've yet to learn of the Forum's replacement for the Anti-Tower. Yet I expect that in time they'll share that with us too. And with Master Matoya, if they've any sense. I want to see her come here and just blast the bloody Forum. Phew, I'll admit, bringing up the issue of the Forum's incomplete arc was more than a little daunting. They were, to their credit, quite open about the current state of affairs. Should we have told them about Meteion? What was even more surprising, though, was when they took Alphinaud up on his offer. While I very much take issue with the Forum's approach to selecting whom to save and when, they're not wrong for wanting to minimize potential conflicts. Fortunately, if this plan of ours actually works, the Great Exodus itself will become entirely unnecessary. Sorry about not letting the rest of you in on my plan. I was admittedly thinking on my feet for the most part, but since we require both a means of communicating with Hydaelyn and reaching Meteion, in the spur of the moment I saw involving ourselves with the completion of the arc as a way to work towards both objectives simultaneously. However, we must keep our end of the bargain by solving the problem of the ether burner. Well, time to get Sid. I'd like to think it is not a challenge beyond our combined expertise, or at least the expertise of our extended circle of associates. It might behoove us to learn how an ether burner actually works before we attempt to improve it, though. Yeah. I'm tempted to end this here, because the past few videos have just been going over an hour long. And this has got cutscenes. Wait a minute. Okay, it's still level 88. I was worried it went to 89. I was worried I'd have to do roulettes again. Oh. Hello. Right, I believe this is just /lookout. Yes, it is. Right, one sightseeing log down, about 45 to go. Lovely. Yeah, I think I'm going to end this video here. So, this has been DragonofEternity going through more Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker MSQ in this video. What did I do? Well, let's see. I got reunited with Urianger. I came back to Sharleyan. We had a discussion about the true cause of the final days. And we talked to the Forum. So I guess next time, we're gotta help fix an ether burner. Okay. Okie dokie. So yeah, with that planned out, viewers, with my rambling hopefully now finally done, until next time.